When the lights of the world blink and buzz for everyone else, what happens inside you when you let them go dark? If your phone stopped begging for attention tonight, would anyone notice first? Or would you? Picture a fortress whose drawbridge finally lifts. Who dares to cross a silent moat? Pause on that image. The closing gates are just beginning to grind shut, and what lies beyond them is the story you're about to live. Before we get rolling, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you'll see every new video. You wake each morning already indebted to requests that poured in while you slept. Your thumbs unlock the screen before your eyes fully focus, and the day hijacks you before you even choose your first thought. How many micro-decisions bleed away before breakfast because an app nudged you toward someone else's agenda? The American Psychological Association's 2024 Stress in America report shows that 73% of adults feel overwhelmed by the constant demands of digital availability. That overload isn't abstract. Chronic stress spikes cortisol, shrinks the prefrontal cortex, and degrades working memory, turning your mind into a phone battery that never quite reaches 100%. A 2025 study in ACTA, Psychologica found that after-hours messaging increased burnout scores by 29% and reduced overall life satisfaction by 21%. You can almost measure the cost in heartbeats, can't you? What could you build with those lost heartbeats if they were finally yours again? Notice the subtle despair when you read typing, bubbles that never deliver, or the phantom vibration that isn't real but still makes you check. Each micro-jolt teaches your nervous system that it must remain on call. Sleep quality drops, creativity fragments, relationships flatten into emoji acknowledgements. How many evenings have you promised yourself a boundary only to surrender at the sound of a ping? Remember last week's late-night email that pulled you back to your desk? What? Did it steal from the person beside you on the couch? People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls, wrote Carl Jung. Does your reflexive availability serve others, or simply help you dodge the silence where your own thoughts echo, yet a darker arithmetic haunts the background? Sleep researchers calculate that every hour of interrupted rest lowers next-day cognitive accuracy by up to 11%. Multiply that by 300 distracted mornings a year, and you've lost an entire month of clarity. Would you willingly donate 30 days of your life to strangers knocking on a digital door? Your identity thins, stretched like too little butter on too much bread. You say yes to tasks, but underneath, you whisper no to yourself. How long until the whisper becomes a disappearance? And still, the question needles. What if you vanished, just for tonight, and the sky didn't fall? Hold that cliffhanger as the drawbridge finishes its climb. Something moves in the quiet courtyard beyond, and it carries your name. Shall we walk? Inside, you step through the lifted drawbridge and the city of pings goes mute. Why does the quiet feel louder than any ringtone you have ever heard? Beneath that hush waits the first flashing signpost, the shadow. Carl Jung warned, the shadow personifies everything the subject refuses to acknowledge. You notice how your irritation spikes when someone mirrors traits you deny in yourself: laziness, envy, need. Each time you stay perpetually reachable, you outsource self-worth and avoid meeting that denied self in the mirror. Isn't it easier to answer someone else's crisis than to confront the one hiding in your own reflection? At 4 a.m. You promise only 2 minutes to reply, yet blue light floods your pupils and erodes melatonin. A 2024 American Psychological Association survey found that 73% of adults feel overwhelmed by digital demands, especially after midnight. Your nervous system, primed for alerts, pumps cortisol that shrinks the prefrontal cortex and hijacks memory. Sleep scientists add that each hour of interrupted rest chips away at executive function like rust-gnawing iron. Sleep Foundation. What plans die unborn because your brain never enters deep restoration? The second beam of insight rises. Authenticity as privilege. Jung reminded you, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you are. Availability mortgages that privilege. You sell slices of identity for fleeting approval. Like a street performer tossing every coin to the crowd, you forget to keep a single moment for yourself. What masterpiece could you compose if you reclaimed those scattered minutes? Consider the math you rarely calculate. Responding to notifications consumes an average of 2.3 hours of focus per day, according to a recent global time use analysis. Over a year, that's more than 56 eight-hour workdays drained into the ether. Could you learn a language, write a book, or rebuild a marriage inside those lost hours? Every yes to randomness echoes a silent no to purpose, yet numbers alone don't pierce the heart until you feel the third spotlight, the puppet strings of the unconscious. Jung cautioned, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Push notification living leaves your willpower on autopilot. Algorithms write the script you think is destiny. When did you last choose boredom long enough to let original thought appear? Modern neuroimaging shows that constant context switching slashes gray matter density in the anterior cingulate cortex, the region that guides self-control. Shrink that region and procrastination blooms like mold in a damp basement. Isn't the endless scroll simply procrastination rebranded as connection? Here arrives the single study you can no longer unsee. A 2025 peer-reviewed survey of 467 police officers published in Humanities and Social Sciences Communications found that after-hours messaging raised burnout scores by 29% and cut overall well-being by 17%. Uniformed professionals trained for crisis still crumble under digital tethers. So what of you, unarmored behind a glowing rectangle? The study concluded that even strong social support cannot offset chronic hyperavailability. Would you cling to a habit that outguns brotherhood and mission? Add the toll of sleep debt. Meta-analyses indicate that performance drops roughly 11% after just one night of broken sleep, losses equal to alcohol impairment. Stack that deficit across 300 nights and you donate a month of lucid cognition to strangers' whims. What invention, forgiveness, or epiphany disappears with those missing synapses? The insights triangulate into a hard truth. Shadow secrecy feeds on distraction. Authenticity withers when you outsource your calendar. Unconscious scripts tighten their grip each time you tap reply. Do you feel the invisible cost tallying like a meter in the back of a taxi that never stops? Still, your fear protests. What happens to relationships when I withdraw? Research on boundary setting shows initial pushback, but long-term respect and deeper intimacy once new norms settle. ColumbiaPsychiatry.org. People addicted to your instant replies may interpret silence as rejection until they discover their own autonomy mirrored back. Could your pause become their permission to breathe? Remember, a fortress is not a prison when the drawbridge can lower by choice. Availability by design, not by default, turns every yes into a deliberate gift. Do you sense that difference vibrating in your chest right now? You have now met the three interior concepts and the modern study that confirm them. The courtyard lies lit by torches of clarity, yet the castle keep remains closed. Something valuable waits in that deeper chamber, something you cannot carry, while shackled to endless alerts. Will you dare to climb the spiral stairs toward the turning point? The hinge of the next door creaks, and the first glow of dawn slips under it. Hold your breath. The moment of rupture approaches. You stand at the foot of an interior staircase, the air heavy with untaken breaths. Every step upward promises distance from the world that once owned your minutes. You place your hand on the first stone and name the shift aloud. No more default, yes. That declaration reverberates off the walls like a gong signaling the end of a silent auction for your attention. Yet theory collapses without a scaffold. So you craft one, the 4 drawbridges framework. Each drawbridge rises in sequence. Each demands a deliberate ritual. Will you ascend and raise them all? Drawbridge 1, the sunset. Signal choose a nightly cutoff hour, say 9 p.m., and broadcast it once, then honor it like a vow. Set a phone alarm that whispers, return to your castle. When the chime rings, you place the device face down in another room and walk away. You fear you'll miss something urgent, but urgency rarely wears pajamas. If true crisis knocks, it will bang on your door, not blink in blue light. How many foes emergencies have stolen your dreams this year? On night 1, you grapple with phantom vibrations, yet by night 7, your body begins to anticipate the hush. Melatonin flows earlier, sleep deepens, Thought resumes her nocturnal workshop. Aren't you curious what inventions wait for you behind closed eyelids? Drawbridge 2. The single-serve morning. You start each dawn with 90 unbroken minutes of solitude before checking any feed. Call it creator's hour, prayer lattice, or simply silence, but guard it like cargo in a storm. You fill that window with whatever returns you to yourself. Writing, stretching, staring out a window until an original question surfaces. Research shows that the brain's default mode network, active during quiet reflection, solves problems 41% faster later in the day. Why outsource genius to algorithms if stillness can outpace them? A friend texts you at 6:15 a.m. The notification glows, but you let it fade. By 7:30, you greet the world carrying ideas formed in the kiln of uninterrupted focus. Do you notice how much lighter your replies feel when forged from a centered core? Drawbridge 3. The elastic boundary. Now you address daytime demands without slipping back into servitude. You adopt the 90-60 rule. 90 minutes of deep work, 60 seconds to triage messages, then repeat. Set a timer. When it ends, you scan inboxes only long enough to categorize: urgent, scheduled, or ignored. Colleagues may bristle, but you teach them through consistency that slow response is not neglect. It is craftsmanship. A boundary honored is a boundary respected. A boundary explained becomes a lesson. Which lesson do you want your circle to learn from you? Within a week, your calendar morphs from siege warfare to measured campaign. Energy surges in waves rather than dribbles, and tasks once sprawling shrink to fit their rightful place. Isn't the size of a problem often inflated by the noise surrounding it? Drawbridge 4. The shadow dialogue. Finally, you turn inward, meeting the traits you once fled by answering everyone else. Each evening for 10 minutes, you journal 2 columns: what triggered me today and what part of me felt unseen. Write fast. No censorship until the page blurs with raw admissions. Patterns surface. Envy during a coworker's praise, anger when ignored, fear at the thought of being forgotten. Instead of exiling these feelings, invite them to speak. Say, "I hear you. Sit down. Tell me what you need." Over time, the shadow becomes collaborator rather than saboteur. Reactive yeses dwindle. Intentional no's multiply. Your voice lowers in register and rises in authority. Have you noticed how true confidence rarely hurries? Together, these 4 drawbridges convert your life into a citadel of chosen engagement. But each gate trembles unless welded by one secret alloy: public commitment. Tell trusted allies your new code. Pin office hours on your door. Set an email autoresponder that states, "I answer messages twice daily to serve you with full attention." The moment you externalize intent, accountability descends like a portcullis. You can still walk out, but only by admitting to yourself that you are breaking your word. Would that admission taste bitter enough to keep you inside the promise? Week passes. You sleep 8 continuous hours twice, something you haven't done since senior year. Morning pages fill 3 notebooks with sketches, plans, half poems, and a fully mapped side business. Afternoons feel like single unbroken notes instead of static-laden radio. What symphony could you compose with such resonant hours? Yet, storms test every fortress. A Friday project implodes and someone labels it urgent at 10 p.m. Your old reflex twitches. The phone feels cold in your palm, waiting for that first tap. Breathe. Ask, will the sun refuse to rise if I answer? At dawn, you slide the phone across the table and watch it glow, then dim, finally surrendering to dark. In that instant, you feel the hinge of fate shift, weakness transmuted to spine. The project survives until morning, and so does your boundary, each. Small proof builds a ledger of trust in yourself. Trust becomes habit, habit becomes identity, identity becomes destiny. Isn't destiny simply identity stretched across a lifetime? But one drawbridge remains half-raised: the social sphere. Your friends, family, and colleagues orbit your changed gravity. Some drift closer, others spin away. You mourn a few lost, Satellites but gain constellations. Conversations deeper. Silences comfortable. Laughter unhurried. Do you see that pruning is not loss but preparation for fruit? Stand now atop the highest parapet and survey the terrain. 4 drawbridges lifted, 1 heart steadied, countless hours reclaimed. Wind brushes your face, carrying the hush of a life aligned. Still, a new horizon beckons. Prescriptions that will turn framework into muscle memory. Feel the anticipation. Coil in your chest. The next chapter will carve these ideas into daily commands that leave no way back to chaos. Will you march forward or glance longingly at the buzzing city below? The portcullis creaks. The prescription waits on the other side. You have lifted the drawbridges, but a citadel only lives when its citizens move with purpose. Now you engrave 5 daily commands onto the walls of your mind. Command 1. Guard the gate at dawn. Rise an hour earlier than obligation. Breathe 3 times and ask, what single act would make this day mine? Write the answer on paper before your phone earns a glance. Could the weight of that ink anchor your focus against the morning tide? Command 2. Break bread with silence at noon. When midday hunger grumbles, eat without screens and chew until flavor fades. Listen for the thought that surfaces only when forks rest. Will that quiet morsel nourish you more than any headline could? Command 3. Craft a golden yes. Before agreeing to any request, repeat the ask back aloud. Pause 3 beats, then imagine it is due tomorrow at dawn. If dread floods your chest, say no with soft finality. If energy sparks, schedule it. How? Many ghost obligations. Could this gatekeeping ritual keep from haunting your nights? Command 4. Close the ledger at sunset. An hour before cutoff, list every open loop, tasks, worries, stray promises. Then choose the single next step for each. Transfer steps to tomorrow's plan, then bless the list closed. Isn't closure, rather than completion, what truly frees the mind? Command 5. Converse with the shadow at dusk. Sit in a dim room. Light 1 candle. Ask, what did I feel but hide today? Give the answer 3 written lines, no more. Fire ritualizes acknowledgement. Brevity prevents rumination. Could this nightly honesty shrink the shadow until it stands beside you rather than behind? Repeat these commands for 21 consecutive days. Neuroscience calls that threshold the window where neural pathways start insulating new habits with myelin. Miss a day and simply restart the count. Discipline is devotion, not perfection. Do you realize that devotion cannot be downloaded? It must be breathed? Expect resistance in week 2. Your social circle may label the new boundaries unfriendly or elitist. Smile, thank them, and hold the line. By week 4, curiosity replaces suspicion. Some will ask for your secret. When they do, gift them these 5 commands as a compact scroll. Will sharing the scroll reinforce the ink etched into your own bones? Track progress with 2 metrics, energy and clarity, rated from 1 to 10 each evening. Energy rises when you honor Command 1. Clarity climbs when you obey Command 4. Graph the scores at the end of 30 days and watch the upward arc. Isn't a visible trajectory the best antidote to self-doubt? For emergencies, keep a fail-safe ritual tucked in your pocket. If a crisis demands after-hours action, set a 15-minute timer. Tackle only containment, not perfection. Then step back inside the boundary. Ritual ends with 3 slow exhalations, palms on heart. Can you feel how a timed intervention prevents a single breach from becoming a siege? Every Friday, gift yourself a Sabbath of spontaneity. 4 hours with no plans, no screens, no goal, beyond wandering. Walk a street you never take. Linger in a bookstore aisle blinking with unknown titles. Or trace a park path until your legs decide to stop. Unstructured time is the compost where intuition germinates. What idea might sprout? When soil finally lies fallow, on the 90th day, review the ledger of abandoned distractions, the late-night doom scrolls, the instant replies. the foggy mornings. Count the reclaimed hours, likely over 200, and decide where to invest them next: skill, art, or relationship. Will you choose mastery, beauty, or intimacy? Close this prescription with a keystone commitment. Write one sentence on cardstock: I steward my attention as the currency of my life, and place it where your eyes meet it before any screen. A fortress thrives not on walls alone, but on the creed recited within. Is your creed ready to echo through every corridor? Cliffhanger. A final choice still stands before you, the public declaration that seals private change. Will you step onto that balcony and let the world hear it? Take a breath and look at the quiet device near you. In the comments, claim your sovereignty with the phrase, I choose my value, filling the brackets with the trait you will guard: time, peace, creativity, or courage. Which word will you inscribe on your flag? Share one command you will begin tonight so others can witness your first step. Every declaration invites accountability. Every witness sharpens resolve. Isn't transformation louder when echoed by a community? If this journey sparked something, download the free ebook linked below, The Shadows Playbook, for deeper exercises and printable ritual cards. Next week's video will explore digital minimalism and romantic relationships. The notification bell is optional, but your intentional presence is not. Will you return because a ping hurted you or because choice pulled you? Close your browser, dim the lights, and let the world wonder where you went. Remember, when availability ends, authenticity begins. The drawbridge is up, the candle is out, and the night whispers possibilities that only silence can hear.